How many of you in this room have like perched you in the face and you thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is where I stop. And pause your sting made me tell you something right now. That voice, that doubt, that fear, it's not the truth. It's the test. How you respond to that test. See, the people who win in life, they aren't always the smartest. They aren't always the most talented. They're the people who made a Kasai-san, who made a day stop them. Say this with me right now. Nothing can stop me. Again, louder. Nothing can't stop me. Why? Because you've already survived 100 here. You're still here. You're standing, breathing, fighting. And that means one thing: you are built for more. Have you ever noticed how people to the same setback, lose the same job, face the same rejection, hear the same? No. But one crumbles and the other rises. One person shuts down, gives up, but what's the difference? What's the diff? Not luck. It's not even skill. It's identity. Identity is power. How you see yourself. At the core, determine cipher for life. If deep down you believe you're a fighter, you'll fight. If you believe you're a winner, you'll win. But if beneath the surface you believe your actions will unconsciously try to prove yourself right, not because you want to fail, maybe because your identity always finds out yourself in reality. Let me tell you something wrong. Most people are walking around every single day wearing the wrong identity. They're still carrying the labels they were guided. You're not good enough. You're shy. You're not smart. You'll never be more than this. And even now, as adults, they're letting that promenta, your identity is not what happened to you. It's what you choose to believe about yourself after what happened to you. Think about this. If someone hands you actor, you're the background actor in this movie, you'll act the background actor. You'll stay quiet. You'll stay in the shadows. You'll wait. What happens when you realize you were always meant to be the lead? You stop playing small. You start walking like the camera is on you, like the scene depends on you, because it does. Every major transformation in life starts with a shift in identity. Let's take a real world example. A word's relationships for years suddenly wakes up and says, I am no longer the kind of perk that's an identity. And when she shifts that belief, everything changes. Her choices, her standards, her energy. She walks into rooms differently. People's in her before she says a word. Or think about the man who's been working a dead-end job for a decade, telling himself, I'm just average. But one day he's tiring. He says, I'm a builder. I'm a leader. I'm a force in this world. And guess what? He starts building. He starts leading. That inner shift, it's not magic. It's identity. The moment you decide who you are, your mind begins to align your habits, thoughts, and behaviors, that new version of you. You don't need to feel like that new person yet. You just need to claim it, declare it, and then start taking actions that prove like a thermostat. If you see yourself as a 72-degree person, average energy, average effort, average life, even if you have a great degree of success, guess what? If your internal setting hasn't changed, you'll self-sabotage back down to 72. But when you raise the setting to 100, even on your bad days, you'll operate at a higher level. Why? Because your identity won't allow anything less. It works in reverse too. How many people do you who in shape helped temporarily but saw themselves as fat at the time? Eventually their old identity caught up. They stopped training, stopped eating patterns. It's not because they lack discipline. It's because they never changed who they believed they were. Tony Robbins always says, your Howie personality is the need to remain consistent with how we define ourselves. That's identity. It runs the show. You can't outperform yourself. You can change it today. Let me give you a challenge. Think of one area in your life where you've been playing small, where you've been settling. Now ask you, I've been carrying that allows this to exist. Maybe you've been saying, I'm just not disciplined. Flip it. I'm a machine of focus and power. Maybe you've been saying, I'm bad with money. Flip it. I'm financially intelligent. Maybe you've been saying else. Flip it. I am calm. I am grounded. I create peace. This isn't just positive thinking. This is you taking control of the blue at your life. Words create identity. Identity creates action. Action creates results. If you want to act like nothing is fine as the kind of person who cannot be stopped, speak it before you feel it. Practice it before you perfect it. Own it before anyone else believes. You're not your pain. You are who you decide to be right now. You are not waiting to become powerful. You already are. It's just time to step into it. Remember that responds to what you want. It responds to who you are. So be the version of you that commands respect. Maybe that leads with courage, that walks through fear, that version of you that acts as if nothing can stop you, because nothing can. Maybe you ever had a day where you woke, nothing bad had happened yet, but your energy was low, your motivation was gone, and it felt like the whole world was 10 times higher. On days like that, even small tasks feel like mountains. Now contrast that with a day when you're just had a great conversation or something clicked and suddenly you're full of life. You're moving faster, thinking clearer, and even your body, circumstances, not your intelligence. Your emotion is energy, and it's the single most powerful in human performance. People like to think they're logical creatures, that they make decisions based on facts, logic, reason. But here's the truth, every decisive thing, doing thing, how you felt in the moment you made it. You didn't quit the job because it was time. You quit because you were fed up. You work out because you read a study. You started because you got angry at how you felt. Emotion moved you. If you want to live unstoppable, if link can stop you, you need to learn how to tap into emotion on demand. That's not just motivation, that's mastery. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. People are about to give a speech. One walks up with their head down, heart pounding, thinking, please don't mess this up. The other walks, shut up, breathe deep, thinking, let's light this place on fire. Same task, same stage, completely different energy. Why? Because their emotions are molds. When you learn how to control your emotional state, you unlock another level of life. That's when you stop reacting and start creating, because the quality of your emotion comes the quality of your performance. You don't need to feel like it to take action. If you learn how to generate powerful, the results are 10x greater. Think about a professional athlete before the game. They don't just walk onto the field cold ball, they hype each other up, they crank the music, they yell, they slap shoulders, they move with intention. Why? Because they know something is how you play. The same is true in your life. Want to show up confident in a job interview. You need to feel powerful, not just crush that sales call. You need to access certainty, not just memorize your script. Want to speak up in that meeting or tears you need to step to courage, not wait for fear to leave. Courage doesn't come from silence. It comes from igniting a state. So how do you do it? You use your body, your focus, and your language, because those are the 3 levers of emotion. Let's start with the body. If you slouch and keep your eyes down, your body is literally programming your brain to feel small. But stand tall, shoulders back, deep, move with purpose. Suddenly your intentional starts to shift. Your physiology tells your brain, we're in charge now. Next, your focus. What you focus on, you feel, ways were wrong, your emotions will match that. But if you shift focus to your strength, your victory is your mission. Boom. Your energy changes. Winners don't ignore, redirect their focus towards solutions, not problems. And then there's language. Maybe that was the words you speak, especially the emotions you live in. I'm exhausted, I'm overwhelmed, I'm not ready, creates a storm of weakness. But say, energize. That was built for this. I was made like this. And suddenly you feel unstoppable. Let's take a simple example. You're running late. You're stuck in traffic. This is the worst. Or you could say, I'm in control of how I respond. I'll use this time to breathe and reset. Second, one language pattern triggers anger, the other creates calm. That's the power of emotional choice. And here's the best part, this is not normal fuse. This is a skill, one that anyone can train. You can train yourself to feel confident in the face of fear. You can train yourself to feel excited. You can train yourself to access peak energy when everyone else is dragging. But it starts with recognizing that happens to you. It's something you create. When you act as if nothing can stop you. It doesn't mean you don't feel fear, but means you've trained yourself to lead those emotions, not follow them, to feel it and move anyway, to rise, even when your mood says sit down. Emotion is energy, and energy is life. You control your state, you control your story. You raise your energy, you raise your impact, you master your destiny. So don't wait for inspiration. Don't wait for motivation. Create the emotion that drives their day. Because the moment you learn to generate power from within, nothing can stop you. Confidence. Everyone wants it. People chase it, read about it, wish for it, and wait on it like it's some magic feeling that just appears one day out of nowhere. Let's set the record straight right now. Confidence doesn't show up before the action. It shows up because of the action. You don't need to feel ready to begin. You need to begin to feel ready. Most people get stuck in the trap of thinking, once I feel confident, I'll take the step. I'll speak up. I'll go after what I want. But that's not how life works. That's like saying, once I get strong, I'll start going to the gym. It's backwards. Confidence is a muscle, and like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it. Think back to when you first learned how to drive a car. Doubly grip the wheel like your life depended on it. Your heart was racing. Your mind was overwhelmed trying to remember every step. Mirrors, signals, speed, brakes. You were confident, you were cautious, maybe even terrified. But after doing it over and over again, something shifted. You got smoother. You made turns without thinking. You could sing along with the radio and drive at the same time. What changed? Did someone inject you with confidence? No. You took action, and confidence followed. The same principle applies to every area of your life. Whether it's starting a business, stepping on a stage, talking to someone you admire, speaking your truth in a tough conversation, confidence will never meet you at the starting line. It waits for you at the finish. This is why the bold win. Not because they're fearless, but because they move through fear. They act despite the nerves, despite the doubts, despite the inner voice screaming, if you mess this up. And in doing so, they build evidence. And that evidence becomes belief. Confidence is built by stacking wins, even small ones. Every time you take a risk and survive, you prove to yourself, I can handle this. Every time you do something uncomfortable and push past it, you reinforce the message, I'm stronger than I thought. That's real confidence. Not the loud kind that pretends to know everything. The quiet, unshakable kind that comes from experience. Let's take an everyday example. Imagine someone who's always felt socially awkward. Maybe they avoid conversations, dread networking, and fear rejection. They want to be confident, but they're stuck. They say, I'm just not good with people. But one day, they decide to push through the discomfort. They initiate a small conversation. It's not perfect, maybe even a little awkward, but they survive. The next day, they try again. Then again, over time, their fear shrinks. Their confidence grows. What changed? They acted, and action rewrote their story. Confidence is not the absence of fear. It's the decision that something matters more than fear. It's saying, yes, I'm nervous. Yes, but I might fall on my face, but I'll do it anyway, because growth lives on the other side of this moment. And here's the kicker, the more you act, the more you start to rewire your brain. You stop seeing challenges as threats and start seeing them as opportunities. You stop asking, what if I fail? And start asking, what if I fly? You no longer need people to validate your worth because you've proven it to yourself. Action doesn't just create confidence, it crushes self-doubt. Because doubt thrives in delay. When you sit around overthinking, your fear multiplies. But when you move, even if imperfectly, you cut through the fog. You gather real-world evidence that says, I can do this. I'm not just hoping anymore. Come. Think about the most confident people you know. They didn't get that way by accident. They weren't born with a special gene. They've just failed more than others who were willing to try. They've fallen and gotten back up so many times that the fear of failure doesn't control them anymore. Their confidence was earned. So how do you start building that kind of unshakable confidence in your life? You take the step, not the perfect one, not the safe one, the bold one, the messy one, the scary one. You lean into discomfort, you chase growth, not comfort. You act like someone who believes, and soon you will. You want to be confident in your career, speak up in the next meeting. Want to be confident in your relationships, have that honest conversation. Want to be confident in your goals, start even if you don't know all the answers. Because confidence isn't about always being right. It's about being willing to try, to learn, and to grow through the experience. Here's the truth. One feels confident at the beginning. Every master was once a beginner. Every powerful speaker once fumbled their words. Every successful leader once felt like an imposter. But they moved anyway, and so can you. Your confidence is not in the future. It's not in the books you plan to read or the advice you plan to get. It's in the action you're willing to take today. Don't wait for the feeling. Create it. Don't wait for certainty. Step into the unknown and bring certainty with you. Because when you act, you build, and when you build, you become. Confidence comes from action. It always has, and it always will. There's a moment in every person's life when they're standing at the edge of something bigger, a dream, a decision, a future they can feel deep in their gut. And in that moment, fear creeps in, doubt shows up. The mind whispers, what if it doesn't work? What if I fail? And that's when most people do what they've always done. They hold back. They keep a safety net. They build a backup plan, a just in case. But here's the truth you need to hear today. If you want to be unstoppable, if you want to step into your full potential, you have to burn the boats. The phrase comes from history. When ancient warriors landed on enemy shores, their leaders would sometimes burn the ships that brought them there. Why? Because it forced them to fight as if their life depended on it. No retreat, no surrender, only one option: win. That same mindset is what separates people who dabble from people who dominate. Those who dabble keep one foot in, one foot out. They say things like, I'll give it a try, or I'll see how it goes. But when things get hard, and they quit, because quitting is still an option. But when you burn the boats, when you commit at a level where going back isn't even on the table, that's when the magic happens. That's when your brain stops looking for escape routes and starts finding solutions. That's when your soul shows up with power you didn't even know you had. Let's bring this into daily life. Maybe you've always wanted to start your own business. You have the idea, you have the vision. You're still clinging to the comfort of a paycheck, telling yourself, I'll wait until the perfect time. But the perfect time never comes. Fear keeps you frozen until one day you decide no more hesitation, no more excuses. I'm all in. You cut the safety line, you commit fully, and suddenly you stop procrastinating. You stop playing small. You start learning faster, showing up harder, solving problems quicker, because failure is no longer an option. The boats are gone. Or maybe it's your health. You've tried 100 diets, a dozen gyms, and every time you quit after a few weeks. Why? Because you never really decided. You always left the door open. I'll see how long I can stick to it. But then one day you hit a breaking point. You look in the mirror and say, this version of me is done. You throw out the junk food. You cancel the old patterns. You tell your friends, your family, and yourself, I'm not trying. I'm changing. That's when the shift happens. That's when results come. That's when your body and mind align, because you're not dabbling anymore. You're committed. You burn the boats. This principle applies to relationships too. How many people stay in broken, toxic relationships because they're afraid to be alone? They keep one foot out, one foot in, never fully walking away, but never fully investing either. And the relationship dies a slow death. But the ones who choose to commit fully or walk away fully, those are the ones who find peace. Because halfway living is torture. Burn the boats, choose the life you deserve, not the one you're afraid to leave. The truth is, every time you keep a backup plan just in case, you give your subconscious mind permission to play small. You never truly stretch. You never really go deep. And therefore, burning the boats doesn't mean being reckless. It doesn't mean making stupid decisions or jumping without a parachute. It means making a decision so powerful, so clear, so committed, that there's no going back. It means drawing a line in the sand and saying, this is who I am now. This is what I'm doing. And I will find a way. I will make one. It's the moment you stop negotiating with your dreams. The moment you stop explaining away your desires. The moment you stop saying someday and start saying no. There's a part of you, the bold, courageous, powerful version of you, that's been waiting for you to stop tiptoeing around your potential. That version of you doesn't want a backup plan. That version wants you to go all in. That version wants you to stop playing it safe and start playing for real. Look around your life right now. Where are you still holding onto the boat? Where are you hedging your bets? Where are you keeping one foot in the comfort zone? Now ask yourself, what would it look like to burn the boat? What would it feel like to go all in on your dream? What would it feel like to show up every day knowing there is no plan B, only plan A, and you're making it happen no matter what? You don't need more time. You need more courage. You don't need more resources. You need more commitment. Because when you burn the boat, something inside you ignites. You stop waiting. You stop hesitating. You stop needing permission. You become a force of nature, focused, fired up, and fierce. So whatever that thing is, the goal, the calling, stop dipping your toes in the water, set it on fire, burn the boat, and go all in. There's a secret to success, performance, and power that most people walk around with every single day, but never use. It's not found in a book. It's not locked away in a seminar. It's already built into you. You carry it everywhere you go. It's your body, your physiology, the way you move, breathe, stand, speak. It all sends powerful signals to your brain. And here's what most people don't realize. Your body creates your emotional state long before your mind does. You don't feel sad and then slump your shoulders. You slump your shoulders and then you start to feel sad. You don't breathe shallowly because you're anxious. Your shallow breathing creates the anxiety. That's how powerful physiology is. It's the remote control to your emotional state, and most people have left it sitting on the table untouched. But what if you learn how to use it? What if you knew how to flip the switch from doubt to certainty, from fear to confidence, from fatigue to energy, all by changing how you move and carry yourself? You'd be unstoppable. Let's bring this into everyday life. Picture this: someone walks into a job interview. Their shoulders are hunched, their steps are small and hesitant. Their voice is shaky, they're fidgeting. Now what kind of impression do they make? Not just on the interviewer, but on themselves. Their body is telling their brain, I don't belong here, I'm not ready, hope this ends soon. Now imagine someone else walks in, head high, chest open, breathing deep, eye contact strong, firm handshake. Their tone is grounded. Their posture says, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. That's physiology in action. And the crazy part, both people could have the same resume. One uses their body as an anchor and the other lets fear take the wheel. Tony Robbins says it best. Emotion is created by motion. You can't sit still and expect to feel powerful. You can't shrink your body and expect to feel bold. You've got to move like someone who owns the moment. Because when you shift your body, you shift your state. And when you shift your state, you shift your results. Think about the most confident people you know. Do they move slowly and stare at the floor? Do they drag their feet and mumble? Of course not. They walk with purpose. They stand like they belong. They use their body like a weapon of influence. And guess what? They weren't all born that way. They learned the power of physiology, and they practiced it until it became natural. Let's get even more real. Have you ever had a day where you just couldn't get out of your own head? You were overthinking, overanalyzing, stuck in a loop of fear or doubt or stress. And then something shifted. Maybe you went for a run, danced to music, hit the gym, or took a cold shower, and suddenly your mind felt clear again. That wasn't coincidence. That was physiology. You moved your body and your mind followed. You see, we've been taught that in order to feel good, think positive. But trying to think your way out of a bad state is like trying to fix a dead battery by staring at it. Sometimes you just need a jump start, and your body is the jumper cable. If you want to feel unstoppable, you have to move like someone who is unstoppable. If you want to act as if nothing can stop you, then your physiology has to match that belief. It's not about faking it, it's about activating it. The version of you who wins is already inside you. You just have to wake them up. Start with posture. Stand tall, shoulders back, head up. Feel that difference. That's not just looking confident. That's telling your nervous system that you are in control, that you are safe, that you are powerful. Next, use your breath. Deep, controlled breathing activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the one that calms you down and gives you clarity. You can literally change your emotional state in 60 seconds by how you breathe. Try inhaling for 4 seconds, holding for 4, exhaling for 4. Do it 3 times. Feel that. That's your body resetting itself, then move. Motion is magic. When you're stuck mentally, get unstuck physically. Jump, stretch, shake out your arms. Do 20 jumping jacks. Go for a walk. Put on your favorite song and dance like no one's watching, because no one is, except your brain. And it's paying attention. Here's the thing. Life is going to throw curveballs. You're going to face moments of fear, uncertainty, and pressure. You might not be able to control the situation. You can control how you show up to it. Your physiology is your secret weapon in those moments. Because when your body says, I've got this, your mind listens. When your breath says, I'm calm, your thoughts slow down. When your posture says, I belong here, your confidence kicks in. You don't have to wait to feel better. You don't have to wait for the fear to disappear. You don't have to wait until you figure it all out. You just have to move, breathe, stand, speak. Live like someone who's already won, and your life will start to reflect it. So the next time you feel stuck, uncertain, or afraid, remember you are one movement away from power, one breath away from clarity, one decision away from standing like a giant instead of shrinking like a shadow. Use your body, use your power, use your physiology, and watch your entire world rise to meet you. Your mind is the control center of your life. To become or create starts with one thing: a thought. The quality of your life will never exceed your thoughts, and your thoughts, they're shaped by what you feed your mind every single day. Let's get brutally honest. If your mind, the world will feed it for you. And most of what the world offers is fear, distraction, comparison, and noise. From the moment you wake up, you're bone you what you lack. You lack what you miss wrong and why you're not enough. If you scroll social media before you've already given your mind to the agenda of someone else's life. Now imagine doing that day after day, month after month. Is it any wonder people walk around focused and unfocused? Their minds are starving for something real, something empowering, something nourishing, and they're feed the truth that can change everything for you. You can choose what your mind consumes. You can choose the input And the input determines the output, and instead of scrolling, you press play on something empowering. A few minutes of a powerful podcast, an inspiring speech, a few pages from a book that fuels killing time. You're planting seeds, seeds of belief, seeds of discipline, seeds of strength. And the more consistently you play your parts to shift, because success doesn't start with money. It doesn't start with the right connection, time, and it starts inside. It starts in the mind. And your mind needs to be fed, trained, and conditioned like any other muscle. Think about elite athletes. They spend hours working on mindset, watching game film, visualizing success, rewiring beliefs, getting coached. Why? Because they understand that mindset. For business leaders, performers, innovators, anyone who operates at a high level, lose the mental game, you lose the real one. Let me give you a real life example. Picture two people who are both facing career setback, a failed relationship, a personal loss. One has been feeding their mind with wisdom, resilience, and perspective daily. The other has been engaged in self-doubt. Who do you think rises faster? Who do you think finds strength even in the struggle? It's not about avoiding pain. It's about a VIP for it. And that comes from the information, stories, and energy you put into your mind every single day. Let me break it down even further. Your first beliefs. Your beliefs shape your decisions. Your decisions dictate your actions. And your actions build your results. So if you want better results, you start upstream by feeding your mind better thoughts. You don't eat once and expect to stay healthy for life. You don't go to the gym one time and expect. So why do people think they can read a good book, attend one seminar, watch one inspiring video, and be meant for unstoppable for life? This is a daily practice, like brushing your teeth, like charging your phone. It's not a luxury. It's a non-routine, a routine that nourishes your mind with what matters. Read books that expand you. Listen to voices that lift you. Watch content that challenges you to be more. Starts that build you, not break you. Hang around people who breathe belief into your bones. Even 5 minutes of intentional, empowering input in the morning change the trajectory of your entire day. 10 minutes of gratitude journaling can rewire your brain toward optimism. A short walk while listening to a podcast, cognitive state, and fuel your creativity. These are not small things. These are game changers when done consistently. And it's not just about positive brain nutrition, mental fuel, high performance psychology. You're giving your mind the tools to lead when fear kicks in, to focus when distractions come, to act with current comfort feels easier. Because the world isn't getting quieter. The distractions aren't going away. The pressure isn't slowing down. Man, you will be fed by chaos. And chaos never leads to greatness. So ask yourself, what am I allowing into my mind every day? Stories and beliefs am I consuming without even realizing? And are they building me or breaking me? Maybe you want to act like nothing can stop you. You may need to like someone who can be stopped. You need to program your mind with the language of victory, of resilience, not a purpose, not once when it's Kong Day. Make it a ritual. Make it sacred. Protect your mental space. It's like a variable real estate you own. Because it is. In a world that's constantly trying to distract you, derail you, and define you, your greatest power, trained and unstoppable. Feed it daily. Fuel it intentionally. And watch the world rise to meet the strength of your mind. Your identity is the invisible force. Your life, it's not what you do, it's who you believe you are. And here's the raw truth most people miss. You will never consistently act in a way that fractures your identity. That means if deep down you see yourself as average, as someone who quits, someone who isn't worthy of greatness, and if you success that tries to come into your life. But if you shift your identity, if you claim the version of you that powerful, the powerful, committed, unstoppable you, then the world starts to respond differently because you start showing up differently. Every decision you make, every risk you take or avoid, every habit you keep or break, it's all feeding your identity. If you've ever said things like, that's just not me, or I've always been they, I'm not the kind of person who, congratulations, you've met your identity. And unless you challenge it, let's bring this into real life. Imagine someone who's overweight and wants to get fit. They start working out, maybe eating better, but in the back the old saying, I've never been athletic, I hate working out. I'm not one of those fit people. Eventually, for a while, that identity will eventually pull them back to where they believe they belong. They miss a few workouts. I knew it'd stick with it. I knew you would. It's like that. They're back to square one, not because they lacked ability, but because lacked their identity. Now picture the same person who makes a conscious decision to say, I am an athlete. I take care of my body. I love moving. At first, it might feel like a lie, but with repetition, action, and reinforcement, that identity starts to take root. And once donges, they no longer try to be fit. They simply are, and their behavior matches it. That's the power of owning your identity to tuning area of life. Your career, your confidence, your relationships, your dreams. If you believe you're not a leader, maybe that was you, won't speak up. You believe they'll push good people away. If you believe you're not good enough, you'll settle for less than you deserve. When you choose to upgrade your identity, I am a leader. I am confident. I am worthy. I am relentless. You give your penis at a whole new level. And yes, identity is a choice. It's not written in stone. It's written in action and rewritten every day. You show up different. Does not define your identity. Your pain does not limit your identity. Your family, your failures, your fears, they do not get the final say. You be a powerful example from real life. A man grows up poor, surrounded by struggle, told his whole life he'd never make it out. He lived for a while. But one day he makes a decision. He says, I am not my environment. I am not my circumstances. I am a builder. I am a warrior. I am that foreman for my family. He starts walking differently, talking differently, learning, growing, pushing. Not because the outside world changed. He rewrote his identity, and years later, he's thriving. Why? Because the shift happened internally before it show up externally. This is the kind of shift that creates transformation. This is how you act as if nothing can stop you. Life cannot be stopped, and that starts with how you see yourself. Start saying, this is who I am now. Even if it feels your first, declare it, own, embody it. I'm the kind of person who follows through, the person who faces fear head on. I'm the kind of person who doesn't quit. Say it again and again. Act like it's true. Stack up evidence you're doing it. It will be true. Because identity isn't something you wait to find. It's something you decide to create. Stop living from the story of who you, from the truth of who you're becoming. That version of you already exists. Not someday, not once you have more time, money, or experience. Right now, it's pals up when you stop playing small. When you stop apologizing for your ambition, when you stop letting fear rent your script into a new identity, you want lasting change. Stop changing behavior and start changing belief. You want to act as if nothing can stop you. Start by thinking yourself as someone who is unshakable, unbreakable, and unwilling to go back. Own it, live it, speak it, walk it. Because when you fully commit to who you are, it doesn't stand a chance of stopping you. If you can't see it in your mind, every great achievement, every breakthrough, every life transformation, it all begins in one's mind. That's the power of visualization. It's not some mystical, fluffy, feel-good exercise. It's a tool of champions. Olympic world class performers rely on it. The most successful entrepreneurs in the world practice it. Why? Because your brain doesn't know the vividly imagined as something experienced in reality. When you visualize your outcome daily, you're programming your mind, body, and most success. And when success becomes familiar, action becomes natural. Here's what most people dog. Maybe they wake up and immediately start reading their phones, checking their phones, dealing with stress, running late. Their mind is filled with noise. Their heart is filled with anxiety. Their life feels chaotic. But what if, instead of reacting, you created your day with intention? What if you carved out even just 5 afternoon to close your eyes and see the life you want to live? Picture this, you sit still, breathe deeply, and visualize yourself achieving. You see yourself walking into the job interview calm and confident. You picture the phone call where you close the deal. You see yourself standing on the stand power. You imagine the fit, healthy version of yourself crossing the finish line. Or walking into the room with unshakable mood in your body, the feel it in your body, the joy, the certainty, the gratitude. You lit it in your mind before it happens in the real world. Maybe that's not fantasy. That's training. Effing your nervous system. And the more often you rehearse it, the more natural it becomes to act on it. Most people are already visualizing Darrows. They imagine worst case scenarios. They see themselves failing, falling short, getting rejected, being judged. And guess what? That fear-based mental dominant focus. And like a GPS set to the wrong destination, they keep ending up where they never want to go. You've got to flip the script. You've got a dream to play in your mind. You've got to be the writer, the director, and the star of the life you want, not the life you think of your bravery. Seeds you plant, whether they're weeds or wild flowers, your brain will grow them. Visualization is how you plant the right seeds. You plant belief, you plant emotion, and soon those seeds grow into confidence, action, and results. Let me give you a real world example. A player stands at the free throw line. The game is tied. The pressure is on. But he's calm because he's been here 1,000 times. He's seen himself make the shot over and over again. So when the moment comes, it's not new. It's familiar. It's his. The body follows suit and sinks it. You don't have to be an athlete to use this. You could be a student walking into an exam, a mother preparing for a tough conversation, a leader stepping into a high-stakes presentation, a dreamer preparing to launch something bold, visualizing the moment, the success, the feeling. And here's where it gets even more powerful. When you attach emotion to your visualization, it sticks. Your brain doesn't just respond to thought, the emotional energy behind them. So don't just see your success, feel the pride. Feel the excitement. Feel the joy. Your body will begin to respond as if it's already real. What happens next? You stop hesitating. You stop second guessing. Your actions align with your vision. Your mind starts stars and opportunities and obstacles. You speak with more clarity. You move with more purpose. And slowly, the story that once felt like a distant dream's life. Not because magic happened, but because you trained your brain to expect it. You become a magnet for your outcome because you made it part of your identity. Visualization is not about wishing, it's about priming. It's about turning intention in your inner world until your outer world catches up. Maybe this is why the people who act as if nothing is their victory before anyone else believes in it, they visualize their next move, their next win, their next level, long before the rhythm gives them courage. It gives them direction. It gives them resilience when things get tough because they've already seen the other side. Simple. Take 5 minutes every morning. Get quiet. Get still. Picture your future with crystal clarity. Who are you becoming? What are you doing? Where are you? What does success look, sound, and feel like to you? Live in that space for a few minutes story and then act like it's inevitable. Because once you make your vision real in your mind, you'll do whatever it takes to make it real in your life. Visualize your outcome daily, and soon you won't just see your dream. You'll be living it,